Leap Castle, a story of history, murder, and spirits. Enter, if you dare, to the most haunted castle in Ireland. We arrived in Dublin that morning, and Leap Castle was our first stop on our way to Athlone for the night. It took us an hour to get out of Dublin due to the rain and traffic. Then it was about an hour to get to Leap Castle. It is in the middle of the country, so make sure you use the bathroom and eat before getting to the castle. The nearest towns are Roscrea and Birr. The entrance was a little hard to find. You go down this small road and turn into the gated area, which is pretty tight. Then you go to the right where there is a turnaround. It was raining and pretty muddy, so we tried to park in a dry area. There were birds circling the castle, and it was everything we had imagined it would be. Sean Ryan, owner of Leap Castle and famed musician, welcomed us.
So you'll be here when we get back?
I'll be here until 5 o'clock. So you have until 5.
5 o'clock, all right. Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you when
Thank
you
you,
get
Sean.
back.
Okay.
Yeah,
No
we'll see you
problem.
soon.
Leap Castle has a very gruesome past filled with violence and deaths. One in particular murder was that of Thaddeus, a priest who was holding a service in the chapel when his brother came in and murdered him in front of everyone. Hence the name the Bloody Chapel. The priest had started the service without his younger brother, which was a big insult, and that made him angry. So he killed him in front of the whole family. He also wanted to take all the power for himself, a common theme in the history of this family. The priest's spirit is present here today. People say they can see a light coming from the chapel at night. We had the place to ourselves and made our way to the top of the windy staircase, passing several doorways. We were on our way to the top, which is the Bloody Chapel. There are many spirits in this castle, and it has been the site of numerous paranormal investigations. As we walked up the stairs, I couldn't help but think of all the stories of spirits that we learned about prior to coming. The governess or nanny that is seen in the halls with 2 little girls, Emily and Charlotte. Some guests have reported the feeling of someone touching them or brushing against them. Emily died after falling from the castle. The girls are seen in the halls and running up the stairs. Be careful as you climb up the stairs. You could easily trip. Another tale of a woman in a red dress is seen with a dagger in her hand. The story goes that the woman was captured by the O'Carroll clan and raped. She had a child, and they killed the child, and then in turn, she killed herself with the same blade. There is an old man seen sitting by the fireplace in the main hall, and sometimes seen with an old lady. As we continued to climb, the only light we had now was from the flashlight. We peeked in the various doors that we could open. I had to check this one out. It looked like a bed overlooking another room. We weren't sure where we could go or where we couldn't go. So we kept going. And then we found this little room off to the side. I'm not sure what it's used for. If you happen to know, please comment below. And the death toll continues, as another murderous act occurred when the O'Carroll clan hired another clan to teach them warfare techniques. Afterwards, they invited them to a feast, and instead of paying the clan, they poisoned their food and killed them all afterwards. We made it to the top, the Bloody Chapel. We stepped into the large open room, which was eerie but there was light coming from the windows, which casted some interesting light shadows. It also offered a little brightness after being in the dark staircase. There were pigeons cooing at us, and a weird feeling came over me as I looked around and thought about what had happened here in the past. We walked around and enjoyed the beautiful green country view. I imagined what it was like hundreds of years ago. I looked out the window and down at the walls below us, thinking about how Emily died falling from the battlements of this castle. If all the killings I mentioned weren't enough, in 1922, an oubliette, which is a deep hole in the ground where prisoners would be thrown into and were just simply forgotten about, was discovered in a secret dungeon hidden behind a wall in a corner of the bloody chapel. There were many skeletons found atop the wooden spikes. 3 cartfuls, in fact. As you can imagine, there are many spirits that roam the castle and grounds. Some good, and one not so good. The elemental, which luckily hasn't been seen in recent years. It smells of rotted flesh and looks much like a hunched-over, sheepish-looking creature. We finished walking around the bloody chapel, closed and locked the door, and made our way down. We went back to see Sean, and he said, you missed a room, and he told us to go back and explore it. I'm glad he told us to go back because this was the room that he restored, and it was so neat. The decorations were amazing and made us feel what it would be like to live in the castle back then. After exploring all this room had to offer, we went back and Sean played his whistle for us. He is so talented, and he plays around the world. This was one of the most unique and personal experiences we had in Ireland. So much history, it felt like we lived a piece of it. And we were the only ones there. I first heard about this castle while watching YouTube videos on the area. It wasn't on our original itinerary, but we knew we had to find time to add it in. There are actually quite a few castles in Offaly County, but we decided to tour Leap Castle. You can visit Leap Castle Monday through Saturday from 10 to 5. Just email Sean or call ahead before visiting to make sure it is open. For more information on the castle and its past, you can visit leapcastle.net. And while you're in County Offaly or near Athlone, there are other haunted castles. There is a very nominal fee to visit the castle. I believe he asked for €6 a piece. There was 3 of us, and we just gave him €20.
So, are you going to go to the bathroom?